Hi, I'm Candie Cooper, DIY jewelry maker, and I want to show you how to make some really easy and beautiful birthstone jewelry. Birthstone jewelry, if you remember, started out kind of like with the mother's rings and the little cluster of stones, and then it since just keeps graduating and graduating. And if there's one thing that's for sure, it's timeless. So here's a little pendant piece that I built. It's got my husband's birthstone, and then I added a couple other birthstones and my daughter's down at the bottom that just sort of mean something to me. That's the beauty of DIY jewelry, is that you can also just like tell your story really easily. So I want to show you some different components that you can use to tell your own story. If you've ever been to those necklace bars where you can pick and choose your charms, this kind of goes right along with that. So you can start with like the Tree of Life charm. You could use some zodiac charms. These are kind of fun. Numbers would be a cool thing to add to it. Then there's letters. You could use your kids' initials, your grandkids' initials. Then if we come up here, I've got some birthstones that are already made into beads, and they're just ready to slide on a chain or a strung creation. Then we get into a little bit more complicated where we have the empty setting and what can we do? And the cool thing about these is there's crystals that actually match the size of the setting. So that's like a crystal rivoli that sits right down in there. But now we get into the mystery of what adhesive do I use to make that birthstone charm, which is what I want to talk about now. According to the crystal manufacturer's instructions, you want to use a 2-part epoxy, which is something I'm usually go for the multi-purpose adhesive, but I trust the crystal manufacturer, so we're gonna actually whip up our own little adhesive here. The thing that's important is you wanna work in a well-ventilated area, and also you wanna make sure that you have equal parts, okay? So I've got just a couple little puddles, looks about the same to me. We're not in science class, so hopefully I'll get a good grade on this and the piece will stick. All right, and then we're just gonna use a little toothpick here and just swizzle it around. Now, a lot of times on the packaging, it'll say like stir it for 45 seconds, or stir it until it's cloudy, or stir it until there's a ton of bubbles or no bubbles. So you just wanna make sure that you get it well mixed. That's the one thing I do know. And so we're gonna kind of treat it like we're mixing paint and come at it from different angles. All right, so the first necklace we're gonna make really, really easy. We're gonna grab this little setting, and it's like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Where do I put the adhesive? Down here or on the back of the crystal? I don't know. Usually I just apply a little bit to the inside of my setting and then drop the crystal down in. You don't want a ton of glue here, guys, because it's gonna squish up around your edge, and then you're gonna need another toothpick to clean up this little bit that I got here. This is a fun piece because it's a link, and so now I can hang more charms, chains, tassels, or whatever. So I want to go ahead and get another crystal set into this little finding. This is a little bit different. The crystal we just set had a point on the back, but this one is actually a flat back, and you can just drop that down in. This is my version of topaz for my daughter's birthstone. Now, we're gonna make a necklace that I take with me all the time on my trips. It can be so easy. So I've got a ball chain, and I actually have mine on right now. It's under my shirt. I keep my family close to my heart when I'm traveling. And I've gone ahead and connected a jump ring to this little finding, just like the copper one we just made. And all you do, anybody can do this, which is what makes it so fun. So it would be a great, like, you know, activity to do with your family even. You're just gonna string that ball chain on through. I put my husband Aaron's first letter on, and then I need one more jump ring. And this can be gold, silver. I'm doing a little mixed metal piece. I'm into mixed metals right now. It's like anything goes, no rules. And then I'm gonna attach this little tiny charm. And I'm gonna hang on there for a second, slide my pieces down to the middle, go ahead and slide my ball chain into the connector. Sometimes that can be a little tough, but this is an over-the-head necklace, so it's not gonna matter here in about 10 seconds. And then I've got my jump ring open, And I'm gonna actually put this on the other side. This is nice because it's a two-sided charm, doesn't matter what side's facing forward. And then close your jump ring, and voila, I have just a great little piece of jewelry that I can wear outside my shirt or under my shirt and keep my family just right there by my heart. So now let's bump it up a little bit and talk a little bit more about the necklace that I made here that tells the full story. This is really, it's all about kind of building your components and putting the jump rings in the right spot. So if we look here, I'm gonna use a lotus, some more birthstone charms, and then this handy bail finding. So let's grab some more jump rings, and I'm just gonna start building the piece as I go. No pressure. The lotus, such a sign of growth, which is definitely something that's happened to my family in the past few years. And then you're gonna connect your bail charm. And you can imagine, like, you put the birthstone charms anywhere you want them, okay? Now I've got a tinier little lotus piece. And I'm gonna open that and then close this. And you can hang this right below. Now, just for fun, let's say you want to add in another birthstone. Let's make actually a birthstone beaded element. We'll grab my piece and then some wire, and we're going to make a little wrapped loop. So string on your birthstone crystal. This is just a bicone, no big deal. And you're going to make a 90-degree bend and then wrap it around your round nose pliers. Nice and easy. Then you can hook in your charm piece. Make sure it has plenty of wiggle room here. Close your loop and then wrap it on around. And I have a nice and secure piece. These components come in all different styles though. So, you know, if you want a geometric look, you can pick geometric style beads. It's all about kind of suiting your style here. I'm definitely more the free-flowing hippie type, so I'm going with this. I'm going with this lotus look, which I really love. And then now, back to that little birthstone that we just made with my daughter's birthstone. We've got this going. So how about we connect the little drop with the wrapped wire loop? You definitely want to use wrapped loops here. This is going to be a piece that's around your neck, high traffic area. So anything you can do to add security is what you want to do. So go ahead and hook this in. And wrap up the loop. Speaking of security, I don't know if you saw, but I'm using jump rings that are extra heavy gauge. So these are like an 18 gauge jump ring. I like them because they also add to they're the same width as the metal that I'm using. So now let's add some more elements here. You can hang in 2 more jump rings, and I just wanted to give you a tip here. This one, I thought I was going to be able to get away with just adding a second jump ring connection here. This will make more sense when I lay it out. But I didn't like how high that was sitting next to the rest of my layers. So what you want to do is kind of make your own chain with some tinier jump rings. So maybe not the most exciting thing to watch, but I think it's these little tips that, you know, you're sitting at home and you're making jewelry and you're like, well, now what do I do? And it's like, well, it's totally normal. You got to kind of make it work and kind of backtrack and get it to sit just how you want it. And as usual, when you're messing with links, things are going to twist and turn, and you got to kind of think about which way you want that to connect to your lotus piece. One more, and that should do it, and then I'll hold it up so you can kind of see it. So I made my grandma actually a locket, and I saw she had it on the other day where I used clear crystals and then tiny bicone crystals for all of her kids. And you can kind of play around with the sizes of the crystals to signify different roles in the family, like kids versus grandkids, you know, husbands versus daughters, and things of that nature. So you can see, like, when I hold this up, it's got a nice cascading effect to it. I pulled some silver pieces here too, just to kind of show you how you could just totally change the look, just going from a lotus to more of this geometric crisscross silver edgier look. Maybe for the modern mama, I don't know. But I know that I love building these birthstone pieces that just tell my story, and then I can pass it down to my kids and their kids and just kind of have that little memento of life.